We know that it's not on the same level as the Word of God, but these biblicists who understood God's principles gave us something pretty phenomenal. Help us understand what's so great about the Constitution.
Yeah, they were taking ideas that had been kind of sprinkled throughout history, but never combined in the way that they did in the Constitution. And when you combine the Declaration and the Constitution together, as we should, there were founders that talked about the Declaration being essentially the slab upon which the home of the Constitution was built. In other words, it's the philosophical foundation upon which then the rule book or the way we play citizenship in America, the game of citizenship, if you will. But then the Constitution itself, this separation of powers, this ability to have these checks and balances, to empower not just one person, but this multitude of people in the government and split that up and have all of those things the way that they arranged it was just absolutely brilliant. And the results speak for themselves. I mean, we're the longest living constitutional republic in history. We're the most powerful, most free, wealthiest nation in history. Very important, we're the most benevolent nation in history. So something about that secret sauce that they put into those documents worked incredibly well.
Some people would say that our founders were atheists, were agnostics, were deists. The people that actually signed the Constitution were trying to get God out of government. But how does the Declaration of Independence blow away and debunk those myths?
Yeah, if you think about our constitutional republic and how that system works, and even the Constitution itself, there's nothing in the Constitution that says that government is giving anything to the people. It's the exact opposite. The Constitution holds up this idea that, for instance, even the Bill of Rights, let's just take the Bill of Rights, freedom of speech, the things that people think of as their rights. All of those things, the Constitution is saying, God gave you those things, you have those things, and government's job is to protect those things. Well, that goes back to the Declaration, where they lay out in the Declaration what they call the laws of nature and nature's God. And they say we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they're endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights. So they're basically saying from the beginning, our freedom is not given to each other. We don't just come up with this. God gave us this freedom. And now then they go on to say that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. So what they're saying in the Declaration is God gave us freedom and rights, and then we create government. We design government for one purpose, to protect the rights that God gave us. That's different from any government in the history of the world up to that time. Every time before that, except for Israel, every time before that, government was created because God gave the power to government, and then government decided what the people got. So they really turned everything on its head. But if you skip the Declaration, you miss that, and it's hard to really understand how the Constitution works, in the design that they gave us.
Man,